What's up, everybody? Welcome to General Chemistry Lab. I'm so glad you're here. Now, this is an online class, it's an online lab, which is very tricky, but I still want you to get all of the education, all of the experience of an in-person lab. So that's why we spent a lot of time setting up these lab kits. So I still want you to do experiments. You just will be doing them at home. And today we are not doing actual experiments, but this is the most important day because we are setting up our lab for all of the labs to come. And we're talking about the most important things that I want you to keep in mind as we go along. Okay, so make sure that you watch this video, make sure that you take notes, make sure that you reach out to me if you have any questions. All right, so getting started, see if I can pull up my syllabus, right? So I'm just going to be mentioning the things that I think are the most important, right? So if this works. Yes, it does. All right. So I do want you to have a calculator. I want you to have, we don't need a textbook for the lab, only for the lecture. And then I will give you safety goggles and glasses, right? And I want you to be safe. So whenever you're doing your experiments, make sure that you have closed-toed shoes. Make sure that you are well dressed, meaning you are covered. You're not wearing like shorts or anything like that. We will need exam monitoring, so you will need responders, and then you will need a webcam and a stand so that I can see you. And you should have gotten information about the cheapest ones in the email, but you absolutely need this, and then you need a lab kit. So you should have gotten a lab kit from me so that you can perform these experiments. All right, so go through and read other things here, course description, things that I want you to learn. But another important thing is, number one, we are going to, right, to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be doing for each of the labs, right? Each lab is going to have a few sections. The first section is going to be just me talking about the lab, right? I will talk about the lab and I will give you a PowerPoint presentation to kind of give you the background about the lab, right? The second one is going to be the manual, right? And I will actually give you videos of students performing these experiments so that you know what to do. So you will get a manual and a video of the procedure. And then in addition to that, you will get 3 assignments. For each lab, you get 3 assignments, right? And most, they will be together, but you have a pre-lab assignment. So after you look at the PowerPoints, you watch my video about background, you get a pre-lab assignment, an assignment asking you a few questions about today's lab background, right? And then after you do the lab, you're going to have a post-lab assignment. This will be an assignment that you're going to do now that you perform the lab. How do you know about it? So you have a pre-lab, you have a post-lab, and then as you do experiments, you will be recording your data. So you have to submit your data as well. So for each lab, you will be graded on those 3 things: pre-lab, post-lab data. And those will be different for each lab. So I want you to take time and look at this, because for all of these labs, the pre-lab and the post-labs and the data for all of the labs will constitute 60%. 60% of your grade will be this, and then the other 40% will be lab exams. So we're gonna do 2 lab exams, right? 2 lab exams, and lab exams are usually exams questioning you about the background and the methods of the experiments that we've done so far. The way I want to divide them if everything goes correctly, is going to be 8 experiments. We're going to do 8 experiments, and then in these 8 experiments, we're going to have 4, and then do an exam, and then another 4, and then do another lab exam. We will not have a final for the lab. Okay, so that is the plan for the lab. And with that being said, one last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to lab is safety, right? Safety is way more important than anything else. We want you to be safe, especially when doing experiments at home. So I want you to follow all the guidelines. We've taken a lot of time to write down every step, and at every step, at every experiment, I start with make sure that you follow all the safety precautions, make sure that you're wearing gloves, goggles, make sure that you are being very careful. Do not touch chemicals, do not test chemicals, do not spill chemicals, right? So make sure that you follow all the safety precautions. And with that being said, you are required in the kits that I sent out a safety, so kind of like a safety agreement, right? So you agree to follow all the safety procedures, so make sure that you sign it. That is your assignment for today. By the way, you have 2 assignments for today. For today, I want you to sign the procedure in your box, not the procedure, but sign the agreement in your box and send it to me as a PDF. And then the second one is going to be about your box. It's going to be about your box. So let's talk about your box real quick. There you go. All right, so if you look at the box, right? I made a video of myself just opening the box, because when you get the box, right, and hopefully you didn't open it, because I did say on top of it, like, hey, don't open it until you watch the video. This is the video that I was talking about. So if you watch this, right, so you can cut it, you can use scissor, you can use a knife, you open it up, and then after you open it up, and this is the important part, you're going to open it up, and then you're going to figure out which way is up, right? Which way is up, which way is down. So you will see boxes either pointing up, pointing down. Why? Because the way you tilt it will prevent things spilling. Ask me how I know. We have done it before. So make sure that you tilt it correctly. On top of them, you will have 2 things horizontally. So you probably will have a burette and a metal stand. Hopefully nothing is broken, right? I haven't got any broken boxes yet, so hopefully we're still good on that, right? So then, again, you have the agreement there, you have some things on top, and then after that, you're going to move it to the point where, so this one that I had was tilted, so you're going to move it so that those boxes can point up. This is the most important part, right? Because if you do it the other way, they will spill out. So when you open it to the top and then tilt it up that way. If we don't do this, they will spill, right? How will you know? You see how the boxes are pointed up, and also every box has a label on it. So you're going to tilt it to where the labels point up, right? So make sure that you do that. Make sure that you do that. Very important, right? And then after that, guys, just go through and write down everything you have in your box, telling me what you might not have. Yeah, you probably won't know what you don't have or what you're supposed to have, but tell me what might be broken, right? Where hopefully everything is good. We try to make it so that pretty much almost everything you have is plastic, so you have very few glassware, so hopefully that did not break. But again, your assignment for today is number 1, the safety agreement, and number 2, opening up your box really well. And number 3, writing down everything you have in your box. So that's what you're going to upload. Now, I want you to, right? I want you to make sure that, because this lab is lab 0, which is setting up your home lab, right? So go to that box. You see the box? You see how nice it is? Find a corner, find a place to put it. Decide like, okay, this is my lab, this is my experiment, this is my bench workspace, right? So set that up so that you have it. Very important. Why is it important? It's important because I don't want you to like be doing experiments all over the place, not on the couch, not on the TV. Like I want you to have a very dedicated space, right? Very important. And one last thing that I will tell you is make sure, right? Make sure that you have for this lab what we call the responders monitor, right? Everything that you do, everything that you submit will be proctored, right? We'll be using the responders monitor so that I can know what you're doing. I can see what you're doing. Some people have tricked me in the past where they don't do the experiments, they just make up numbers and they put them there. We are not going to do that, right? So that's why I say I want you to get a good camera, a good tripod, very cheap. We can find very cheap camera and tripod. That way you set it up here, you set up your box, you set up your experiment space, and then you do it on responders so that I can look at your work. And then after you're done, you can do your pre-lab, your post-lab, you enter your data, and then you will be good. Okay. Other than that, we will be talking about each lab individually. Like I said, we're going to do 8 labs. We're going to do 8 labs and then 2 lab exams. So as you can imagine, we will not be doing a lab every day. So my plan is to do 2 to 3 labs a week. 2 to 3 labs a week. Okay. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to do 2 to 3 labs a week. What determines whether it's 2 to 3 labs a week? The weeks in which we have exams, we will have 2 labs, right? And the weeks in which we don't have exams, we will do 3 labs, right? So that is what we're going to do, guys. Lab 1 will start soon, and in lab 1, we will be talking about geometry, right? We'll talk about geometry, but make sure that you follow the instructions. And this is lab 0 so that you can familiarize yourself with the environment, the assignments, the class, the syllabus, the box that you have. And then we can also try the responders monitor. And then we're going to also try our submission guidelines, right? I want to make sure that you submit the right figures, you know how to submit a PDF, you know how to upload it. That way we are all set for lab 1. But other than that, I think we're gonna have fun in this semester. You just have to make sure that you do your labs on time, you submit them on time, and then you will be just fine. But reach out if you have any questions, guys. I will see you in the next lab.